What made you say, yep, I'm going to die? I was working a quiet night shift as a nurse in a small rural hospital, just me and one other nurse handling the entire floor. It was around 2 a.m., the hour when things usually start getting weird, when the call light from room 4 went off. Headed in, expecting maybe a request for pain meds or help to the bathroom. The patient was an elderly man recovering from pneumonia, normally calm and polite, but now he looked shaken. He whispered, "There's someone in my bathroom." I checked it. Empty. Nobody under the bed, nobody behind the curtain, just him, and the dim light humming above. I reassured him and returned to my station, making a mental note that he might be getting a little delirious from the meds. But 20 minutes later, the button lit up again. This time he was sweating and insisted someone had stood at the foot of his bed and disappeared when he turned on his light. I did another sweep of the room. Again, nothing. Told him I'd check on him regularly, and he seemed to relax. Around 4 a.m., I was catching up on patient charts when the entire floor went dark. The overhead lights blinked out, the monitors died, and even the phones were cut. Only the dim red glow of the emergency lights remained. My colleague left to check the generator room, and I started making rounds. As I approached room 4, I noticed the door was now closed. We never closed those unless there was a procedure. I slowly pushed it open, and everything felt wrong. The patient was sleeping, but the bathroom door was shut again, and this time there were wet footprints leading from the bathroom into the room. I froze. I knew that door had been open. I hadn't heard anyone go in or out. As I moved to back out of the room, the patient's eyes snapped open. "He's still here," he whispered. I barely had time to process those words before the bathroom door creaked open. Standing there was a man in filthy hospital scrubs, grinning like he'd just won the lottery, holding a sharpened plastic spoon. "Hello, nurse," he chirped like a cartoon character. "I'm here for your 4 a.m. lobotomy." That's when I knew I was going to die. My breath caught in my throat as I recognized him. Lobotomy Larry, a former psych ward patient known for escaping and declaring himself a brain surgeon. He'd been transferred out months ago after trying to perform surgery on a vending machine with a butter knife. Now here he was, brandishing his spoon weapon and buzzing like an imaginary bone saw. I bolted for the hallway, but the door slammed shut before I could reach it. He'd somehow wedged a mop handle through the push bar. "No escaping, missy," he sang. "You're on the operating table now." I scrambled backward, knocking over a tray table, trying to put anything between us. He advanced slowly, raising his spoon like a scalpel. "This won't hurt a bit, unless I slip." Just as he lunged, the overhead speaker crackled back to life. My colleague had managed to reboot the system and call security. Larry panicked, dropped his spoon, and tried to flee through the bathroom window. It took security and 2 cops to pull him out, screaming something about unfinished surgeries. Later, we found out he'd stolen a fake ID, sedated a staff member, and used his old knowledge of the hospital layout to cut power and disable the call buttons. My coworker had been found duct-taped to a rolling chair, spinning in the generator room with a paper cone on her head labeled "DUNCE cap for broken brains." To this day, I still get goosebumps whenever I hear the phrase, "time for your brain transplant," and I always check every bathroom twice, just in case.